Hey, my name is Soraya Sorbadan. Welcome to this episode of Soraya Sorbadah's Fierce Cooking Show. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm just the queen of healthy Latin cooking, and I don't even know that much about every type of food and fiber and vegetarian and vegan and paleo. No, not an expert. The only thing I'm semi-expert on is living my own life the way I want to live it, and that I'm learning a day at a time. I decided in my life that as I identified inner struggles of anxiety, depression, post-traumatic stress, that I was going to wing it on my own, right? That being abstinent with my food, being sober from alcohol, Al-Anon, ACOA, all of that was going to be enough for me. And I realized that it's not enough for me. That maybe it might be a good idea to get some help besides therapy. Gotten a lot of benefit, meditation, journaling, exercise, dancing, taking up hobbies that I really like to relieve depression, make me feel good about myself. But I was still struggling with my depression, my anxiety. I was still self-personalizing a lot of things. I believe after losing my parents in my 50s and dynamics of my family changing, that I just became more vulnerable. Depression was building and I wasn't even aware that it was building. More anxiety and depression through grief, through loss, through losing all my friends to the AIDS epidemic, all of that. That's who I am. So now psych meds were suggested to me back in 2008 when my dad passed away, and I was really struggling with his loss, and I was seeing a therapist and a psychiatrist. So when this psychiatrist suggested it, I was like, no, I'm gonna gain weight, I'm gonna change as a person, no. And I now see that it probably would have been a good idea. I think I should have been taking meds at 19 when I came out to my parents as a queer young adult. That my parents freaked out. The mental twist happened there. So the misgendering in 2022 threw me off track totally again. But really affected me. So I spoke to my primary care doctor and I'm like, look, I'm interested. I'll consider taking some medication for my depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder. So my doctor gave me Lexapro. I started taking it straight up to 10 milligrams. I did feel right away some relief. Like I was like, is this placebo or what? What was the relief? I felt less paranoid. I felt calmer. Like when I go grocery shopping, and I notice it as a person of color. Ever since I was 12, I noticed like being followed in stores by security guards. I'm very sensitive to that. I'm very aware of it too. I felt like when I was going out shopping under that medication, I didn't even think about it. It was so funny. This is Lexapro. And so that was kind of cool. I was like, oh, this is nice. Oh, it's kind of like the drama is being lifted away from me, these things for me is like a loop, and it just like stays in the brain. It plays for me anyway. And I was like, this is kind of cool. This is how the other half lives. This is interesting. It's fabulous. But by the third day, that evening, I had such an anxiety attack. Like at night, like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, by myself. I was like, oh my God. And then I stopped taking the Lexapro. I think starting this dose in smaller increments and building up, it might have worked for me. I started it on February 17th. So that means by February 20th, I came off Lexapro. Took a break, was like, no, meds, and see what happens, no, that was scary, no. I went to my endocrinologist, who's also a primary care doctor, who's quite brilliant. Dr. Will Powers, that's a fierce doctor. He knows with my hormone levels what medications would hinder or be okay with my hormone replacement therapy. What he did was prescribe Fluvoxamine. And it's a 25 milligram tablet. So he goes, Soraya, take a quarter of the tablet. Start it off like that. By the 10th day or so, be on the full 25 milligrams. The Lexapro does not have a warning on drowsiness. Oh, I'm gonna have to talk to Dr. Powers about that, because Fluvoxamine has a warning on drowsiness. Oh man, this is blowing my mind right on camera. Because yes, Fluvoxamine. Let's talk about fluvoxamine. Besides the fact that it can cause drowsiness, which to me, I haven't felt it. I felt immediately the benefit. What's the benefit? I felt lighter. I felt like my mind went back to 2008. And what I mean is, like, my brain is a computer, and after all these years and everything, like, it got corrupted. Like, viruses came, and the viruses are like, okay, this is my life, I'm not talking about yours. Like, life experiences, like my parents passing away, the trauma, the grief of that, the siblings fighting over the inheritance, I'm fighting with them, not really my way of handling my life, but yet I engaged. And you know, step work and 12-step program, you know, I dealt with these issues of resentment and anger, fear, and all of that. But it built up. There was a lot of losses that I suffered. And then transitioning, selling my home, going from male to female, like the stress of losing friends, losing family through all of that. So it started with my father's passing in 2008, and my mother passing, and the dog passing, and a boyfriend that I loved, and my relationship ended with him, and then I started to transition, and it was all of this complexity, life stuff, and it took a toll on me. And I felt when I started taking meds, in this case, the fluvoxamine, it reinstalled my life thinking and feeling and outlook that I had prior to all those losses. So I was like, wait a minute, like, I'm feeling like I did in 2005. Creatively, I felt refreshed. Emotionally, I felt refreshed. I wasn't carrying the weight and the residue of all of that loss, all of that complexity, all of that grief. It's the best way I can describe it. So immediately I started feeling this relief. And all these positive affirmations that I was working on with Louise Hay books and meditation tapes and all of this stuff, like, started playing in my mind louder than my paranoia, my fear, and my negative stuff. So does that make sense? I hope it does. So that's what started happening with fluvoxamine. Now Lexapro was a quick boom, quick. Like, I noticed it. It was almost a little zombie-ish though. I was kind of like tick, 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 like not really, just kind of like whoosh. Where the fluvoxamine, taking it in the quarter tablets, building up to the 25 milligram by day 9, I was already there, was a gradual increase into like feeling lighter. Okay? So I'm gonna have to speak to Dr. Will Powers about Lexapro. Didn't have any warning about it being drowsy. Oh, and I hate being like, should I be eating vegan or should I be eating vegetarian? Should I be doing Lexapro or should I be doing fluvoxamine? Should I buy a Honda or should I buy a Toyota? Am I a man or am I a woman? Oh gosh. It's hard for me to commit. Like, being committed to being a transgender woman has been easy. Well, not easy all the time, but this is me. Anyway, so yeah, and then also with Dr. Will Powers, he buddied up propranolol. Wow, right? Isn't that something? Does that have a drowsiness thing? Yeah, so here's two drowsies. Fluvoxamine is a drowsy, and then the propranolol is a drowsy. So I don't know about that. But I will tell you what the deal is with propranolol. I start the 80 milligram tablets. I didn't start on them right away. Started taking them on day 6 or 7 because I was starting to feel really good with the fluvoxamine. Lighter, positive, getting things done, really nice. I didn't feel drowsy. A little spacey. I mean, I drove and I went through 2 red lights. That wasn't cool. I have to be careful, and maybe that is part of the drowsy. But then my mind is acclimating. Just should not be driving right now, and I'm not going to. The propranolol, 80 milligram, started taking it on day 7. The way this is prescribed, take a quarter to 1 tablet up to 3 times daily as needed for anxiety. I started taking it 1/4 one day, and then I started a 1/4 tablet 3 times a day. And I'm gonna tell you that this took away my daily anxiety. I have a loop that plays about a lot of things, and I get anxious and I call for like my mom or my ex-boyfriend or somebody to save me, actually. You know, like I'm feeling anxious, and it's like the child that was being beat up, or there was violence wherever, at home, at school, wherever. I'm being called names, and like I freak out. I still do. I still loop, and I think about something, or even in modern day, every day, current day events, like that one person said this, and my mind equates it as a negative, and it plays it back, and then I freak out. Or I said something and I shouldn't have said that, and my mind plays it, and I freak out and I get anxious, and I like, you know, like, yeah. I found that propranolol lowered that chatter. So, but what I found with propranolol that I didn't like is I like to exercise and I like to go to the gym, and this is a blood pressure medicine. It's a beta blocker, and so, but it helps for anxiety, but primarily this was created for high blood pressure. This is used for if you're a golfer and you want to keep a steady hand. If you're speaking at a social engagement and you're nervous, this will lower it. So your phobia of public speaking, this will assist you. But it lowers the blood pressure. I like to work out at the gym a lot. I like cardio, and I like dancing a lot too. I didn't want anything affecting like my physical activity and abilities. And it's only taken as needed, but believe me, this I need all the time for anxiety, because that loop that plays. Going back to Lexapro, after 3 days, I felt like my libido was very much affected. This happened within 3 days. At that time, along with the anxiety, I wasn't crazy about it, so I stopped. I can't speak to insomnia on Lexapro, but I can certainly speak to insomnia on Fluvoxamine, because I am experiencing insomnia. On the full dosage the last 3 days, yes. Last night wasn't as bad. The research that I found says that within 2 weeks those side effects should ease. I'm hoping it does, because I'm waking up much later than I usually do. My clock is much different now. But I'm gonna give the meds a try. But right now I am on the Fluvoxamine. I don't have any qualms about that. Yes, I do. This video brought it up, which is the drowsiness. I don't like being drowsy. So I will say that at this time in my life at 63, I am going to stick on the plan of taking meds. So I have those 3 meds. My experience with them, it's very, very brief. I will continue to update and let you know what I stay with, if I switch to anything. I really feel now with meds, you know, when you go rollerblading, if you're learning how to rollerblade in the very beginning, you're gonna wear a helmet, you're gonna wear elbow pads, knee pads, you know, just in case if you fall by learning how to rollerblade, you're not gonna get hurt, right? So I feel like not having a commitment to go to any workplace situation right now is good for me, because it allows for me to like really concentrate on what the right dosage is, what the right med is, and integrating it into my mind and lifestyle. So then this way I'm gonna be better equipped when I go out to rollerblade at a new job, that, you know, I've got some pads on me and stuff. So in case something happens and I fall, that I won't get so hurt. So hopefully then any misgendering, any issues won't impact me so severely moving forward, right? Yes, honey. So thank you for watching. I hope this was helpful for you. Have a great day. Bye. Mwah.